the Vaganova Academy of Russian Ballet in St. Petersburg. For the last 270 years, ballet dancers have perfected their art here. For these children, dancing is their life. They train for several hours a day on top of their regular schoolwork. 50 years ago, the famous dancer and teacher Agrippina Vaganova created a system which Masha Chugai and her fellow students still use today. It helps them achieve total command of their bodies with perfect harmony. Classic ballet is still taught in single-sex classes. This is because male and female roles differ greatly. Most of the teachers here, like Professor Ludmila Kovalova, have been famous dancers themselves. And like her pupils, from the age of 10, she lived and studied in this old and beautiful academy building. An American student, Alan Alberto, is from Miami and has been at the Ballet Academy for 4 months.
Really, everything has changed, but the ballet has remained the same. How strange that ballet, which seems to be such a naive and even archaic art form, remains forever young. It seems that ballet should disappear, since technology, the world of sport, newspapers and television have changed everything completely. But no, ballet is just amazing.
It's hard work impressing an audience. Masha Chugai is training intensely to perfect a solo in the Nutcracker. For Alan Alberto, however, life here is still very new to him. He enjoys the warm atmosphere at the school, and he's quite happy with his results so far, despite some difficulties with the Russian language.
I think the program here is amazing. I think it's the best academy, in my opinion, in the world right now.
And why? What is it?
Because the teachers are incredible. You can learn so much. I've been here now for 4 months, and I feel like I've improved so much.
But the academy doesn't just turn out highly trained professional dancers. It also has to educate its 300 or so students. English language classes are very important. However, the grammar proves to be a daily challenge for the younger students. The dance classes use up a lot of their energy. Music and dance is in evidence everywhere. Ballet is central to the academy. However, the teachers also prepare their students for the outside world.
English is very important not only for the academy, and especially for the academy because they are going to travel a lot. They are going to perform just in a lot of countries, yes, so of course they should communicate and they understand it quite well.
More than 30 foreign students study at the academy. Newcomers like Alan hardly speak a single word of Russian. Pandora is from Paris, Tanomi from Tokyo, and Tiffany is from North Carolina. In small, quite intense classes, they have to learn all of the key words in Russian, which are used in dance classes like jump, turn, and count. Alan has made real progress in his language classes and can now tell people in Russian that he lives in a dormitory at the Ballet Academy. The dining hall is somewhere for everyone at the academy to chat over a bite to eat. With lessons from 9 in the morning until 7 at night, there's little time to go outside the dance school and meet people. The teachers and students all eat together. And the self-service canteen is also rather cheap. Masha Chugai prefers to have a cup of tea and a chat with her friends.
We've accepted the foreign students as our friends, and we try to spend our spare time together and to speak with them in English. It's both a pleasure and a good practice for us.
For Russian and foreign students alike, St. Petersburg, with its rich architecture and culture, is awe-inspiring. French and Italian masters designed Russia's imperial capital with a great sense of harmony. With its canal network and golden cupolas, St. Petersburg is sometimes called the Venice of the North. Every year, hundreds of parents try to get their children through the Academy's entrance exams, which are held during the spring and summer. Children normally go there from the age of 10, and they dedicate their lives to dance. It's not an easy task for these youngsters, but they often adapt to life here quite quickly. 13-year-old Ernest Latipov is one such student. He's from Kyrgyzstan, which was once a part of the Soviet Union. And this Central Asian country has no ballet academy of its own. The teenager enjoys the training, which pushes the students to the limit, building up their strength and endurance. He has just one goal: to become a great dancer.
Of course, it's difficult, but you have to make an effort, not only technically, but also through understanding. Well, that's what our teachers tell us anyway. And then we have to rehearse as well. This is also difficult. At the moment, we're rehearsing the Nutcracker.
The Nutcracker is a famous Russian fairy tale which is popular at Christmas. It was adapted to the ballet for children of all ages by Vasily Vainanen in 1934. It means they have the chance to dance together on stage, and they can also learn from each other. Only the most talented pupils are given solos. The exposure to the complexities of the orchestra and a live audience also prepares them for their future careers as professional ballet dancers. The city of St. Petersburg and the famous Kirov Ballet has played a major role in the development of this art form during the last 100 years. Alan is one student who will take his skills and experience abroad.
I think that ballet is always magical, and whenever you're watching, especially as a ballet dancer who knows about ballet and who knows about the technique and knows about what you're looking for, I think when you go to Marinsky and you see the theater and you see the company dance and you see someone dance, there's definitely someone who's better than someone else. And when you see someone amazing, there's a magic of feeling a fire that they let go, and you watch and you feel so entranced, or like you just know that there's something special.
Alan and his fellow students are dancing the Pink Waltz in the third act of the Nutcracker. During this sequence, 12 pairs of dancers build up to the final scene. These duets are taught by Vadim Disnitsky at the Academy. He's been teaching at the school since 1970, following a 22-year career as a dancer himself. Alan is one of the few students allowed to dance in all 6 performances on the Marinsky stage this season. It's a great honor. He started dancing at a private academy in Florida just 3 years ago, which taught the Vaganova system. During rehearsals, Professor Disnitsky spots the smallest mistakes as he follows several dancers at a time. He knows that the classes are less strenuous than actually dancing on stage, so he puts the students through a grueling schedule. Often students stay in contact with the academy after they've graduated because of these close tutor-pupil relationships.
I'm a big fan of the Vaganova system. In the West, they may perform fantastic moves standing endlessly on tiptoe because they have special shoes, but the type we use aren't as good. But we still dance. No one has hands like us. Nowhere. However, I have to say the way they dance is rather mechanical. Whereas here, in addition to the hands, we pay great attention to expression, to the soul.
The studio where the Vaganova system is taught has a great history. The students all know that some of the world's greatest dancers train there. Every rehearsal and every step brings them closer to their future careers as professional dancers. It's now up to them how high they will go. The The Academy's museum embraces 270 years of the school. It was founded by the Frenchman Jean-Baptiste Lange after the Empress Anna signed a decree in 1738 to open one at the Winter Palace. Many famous exponents of classical ballet, like Marius Petipa, was involved. The Ballet Russe in France was organized by the impresario Sergei Diaghilev and is an important part of the history of ballet. The famous dancer Vaslav Nijinsky was the first Russian to earn worldwide fame through his performances in the early 1900s. Agrippina Vaganova is famous for her unique teaching methods at the dance school. Rudolf Nureyev and Mikhail Baryshnikov followed her methods and went on to earn international status. Most of the Ballet Academy students live in dormitories at the school. Masha Chugai is expecting a visit from her mother Tatiana, who is traveling to St. Petersburg from Donetsk in Ukraine to see her daughter.
As you can see, this is where I live. Other girls live here as well, and they're all my friends. This is my room. 4 of us live here.
The girls manage to live in this small space. They work out and do stretching exercises in the middle of the room. They also look after their ballet outfits and other clothes themselves. Most evenings, Masha repairs the tips of her dancing shoes. She enjoys the daily ritual. For her, it's a pleasure rather than a burden. And all she can think about is the role of Princess Masha in the Nutcracker.
I express my heart and soul through my dancing. Unfortunately, in normal life it's hard to express myself completely and be who I really am. But when I dance, I have no fears. I open up completely. And of course I like to show people what I have learned here. The time and effort that my teachers have invested in me and my dancing.
In the next room, young students at the Academy are having fun. They're good friends and they care for each other a great deal. At 9 o'clock in the evening, it's time for them to go to sleep. Staff at the dormitory look after the children and tend to their every need. They act as their parents, and they're also a part of the Vaganova system. Discipline is the key, and the women who work in the dormitory make sure it becomes second nature to the children. Masha, along with the rest of the older students, are allowed to stay up a little longer, until 11 at night. They've decided to refresh their memories and watch a video of last year's performance of the Nutcracker. In 2 days' time, they'll take to the Marinsky stage once again. Masha hopes she'll be able to improve on the solo role of Clara or Princess Masha, as she's known in Russia. She was very nervous the first time round.
It was very difficult last year. Normally this particular role is performed during the last year of study, when you finish at the academy. It came as a total surprise to me that I was allowed to perform this role in the 7th grade. I couldn't believe it at first.
For Masha, performing in the Nutcracker was a dream come true. Her classic dance teacher Ludmila Kovalyova accompanies Masha during her last rehearsals. Here on the main stage at the Marinsky, they prepare for a live audience, the last brushstrokes as they say in Russian. It requires complete precision to create light and beauty in the scene. Over the years, Mrs. Kovalyova has identified both Masha's strengths and weaknesses.
However, it's a bit strange for her. Strange because sometimes it happens to her. She seems to be such a strong-willed girl normally. But at times, you know, she demands so much from herself that when there are spectators or, let's say, a commission watching, she concentrates so hard that she gets lost. I tell her all of the time, "My little Masha, I don't want to see you like this ever again." But she'll do it. She's a smart girl.
The Marinsky Theatre in St. Petersburg is a world-famous opera house. Founded as an imperial theatre, this neoclassical structure was designed and built by the architect Albert Cavos in 1859. The Marinsky is also renowned for its pastel green exterior, which makes it a landmark in St. Petersburg. Masha's mother, Tatiana, is naturally looking forward to seeing her daughter dance in this famous scene from the Nutcracker.
Her love for ballet began when she saw a performance of the Nutcracker. She watched it at 4 years of age, and then she just kept on getting on our nerves. Dancing around, pretending to be Masha in front of us. When she was 5, we had to take her to a ballet school. She couldn't do anything. And 4 years later, she became a small Masha in the show. Of course, she always dreamt of dancing the role of the adult Masha.
But all of the students have trained for weeks on end for this one day. Alan is also getting ready for the Pink Waltz. He's impressed by the scale of the opera house.
The Marinsky Theater is huge. It's like a maze. It's incredible to be here.
The backstage area is a hive of activity this Sunday morning. Costumes need to be allocated and everyone is nervous. Ernest is given a 19th century costume and his brown hair needs to be curled. He'll soon become a part of the fairy tale. In the women's dressing area, the preparation is an immense task. All of the girls want to look perfect. In classical ballet, physical beauty plays an important role, and all of the Russian girls like to look stunning. Altinaya Asilmuratova is the Academy's artistic director. Up until 2000, she was a prima ballerina at the Marinsky and knows all about the secrets of the stage. She makes it her job to create the perfect Princess Masha today.
Of course, I remember it well, because we all grew up with this show. And of course, I'm nervous. Sometimes we also have in-house performance at our school, and the children are really excited then as well. They aim to please and do the best they can, but it's a completely different thing to be on this stage, you know. Here everything is real, and the tasks they have to fulfill aren't really for the children, but for adult dancers instead.
In a few minutes, the performance will begin. Everyone now concentrates on their own tasks.
Today I will realize everything that I have worked so long for. It means I can express everything and give myself to the audience.
The stalls at the Marinsky are full, the tickets sold out. Masha's mother, Tatiana, is in the audience and she's anxious, hoping for her daughter's success not only today, but also in the future. Crystal chandeliers, frescoes, classical columns, and a gold stucco interior makes the Marinsky Theatre a must for everyone who goes to St. Petersburg. The Nutcracker, which was written by Ernst Theodor Amadei Hoffmann, was adapted to the ballet by Lev Ivanov, who was an assistant of the famous French choreographer and premier ballet master at the Academy, Marius Petipa. Petipa, who is known as the father of classical ballet, fell ill, and he had to hand over the project to Ivanov. It's been performed 630 times at the Marinsky since its premiere there in December 1892. The Nutcracker is a fairy tale about a girl called Masha who finds a Christmas present, a nutcracker. We see the events of her Christmas Eve unfold, where Masha dances and dances until she falls asleep. During the performance, the students watch the scenes backstage with eager eyes. Vadim Disnetsky lends a helping hand and gives the occasional massage to dancers with sore legs. As Masha dreams of being a princess, she watches the dance of the ice blue snowflakes. Her Nutcracker turns out to be an enchanting prince. Together they live through a series of adventures and miracles. A new act is about to begin. The young dancers try to stay calm. The final warm-up helps many of them to release tension and cope with their nerves. Stepping out onto the huge stage at the Marinsky isn't an easy thing to do. And for Alan, it's a dream come true.
Well, now the show is about to start, so I dance. This is the third act. I dance Pink Waltz. And so we started thinking about 2-3 minutes, very fast. And so I'm not nervous, I'm ready, I'm excited. It's my first time dancing on the Marinsky stage, finally. And so I'm looking forward to it.
For the Academy, this performance is the best way to gauge how the intense training translates in terms of real progress. The teachers can compare and analyze the performance year on year, and on stage, each dancer develops in a different way. A normally talented dancer can appear pale and nervous on stage, and a shy child can become a young star. And Vadim Disnetsky doesn't miss a thing when it comes to his students. The Nutcracker has always been a good way into the ballet for fresh talent in Russia. Often a lifelong love affair with the ballet starts here. Margaret Maiden is from the Royal Opera in London, and she's particularly attentive to the performance.
I am on the board of the Royal Opera House in London with the Royal Ballet and the Royal Opera. And we see for the ballet, for the Royal Ballet, there are two real competitors in the world. The Marinsky is one, the Kirov, and the Paris Ballet. Those are our two big worries, you know. Are we as good as them? We're not sure. This is great.
And for Masha Chugai, the stakes are high. Less than half of the students at the Academy make it through to the end of their training. Weaker students have to leave, and at best, just a few students a year are given the chance to perform solos. And under the watchful eye of the former great ballerina Altinay Asilmuratova, a star is born.